The effects of porn, what the research says. Pornography can shift sexual interests, behaviors and relationships. It shapes sexual scripts, providing models of behavior and guiding sexual expectations, with studies finding links between watching pornography and heterosexual anal intercourse, unsafe sex and more. Watching pornography can lower men's relationship satisfaction. And for women, male partners' pornography use can reduce intimacy, feed self-objectification and body shame, or involve coercion into sexual acts. But these next areas of impact concern me most. Pornography teaches sexist and sexually objectifying understandings of gender and sexuality. For instance, in a randomized experimental study among young men in Denmark, exposure to non-violent pornography led to less egalitarian attitudes and higher levels of hostile sexism. And in a longitudinal study among US adolescents, increased use of pornography predicted more sexist attitudes for girls 2 years later. Pornography also teaches violent attitudes and behaviors to both adolescents and adults. What's more, meta-analyses, systematic research that synthesizes multiple studies, from 2000 and 2015 have found associations between watching pornography and actual violent behaviors. Aggression, largely by males and overwhelmingly against females, is common in pornography. An analysis of top-selling and top-renting titles found 88% of scenes showed aggression. Men who use pornography more often are more likely to practice or desire dominant, degrading practices, such as gagging and choking. And women who use pornography are more likely to practice or desire submissive practices. In fact, longitudinal studies among adolescents find watching pornography is linked to sexually violent behavior later in life. In a US study, people who watched violent pornography were more than 6 times as likely to engage in sexually aggressive behavior. In another, it predicted more frequent sexual harassment perpetration 2 years later. But while pornography uses an important risk factor for sexual violence, its risks are greater for some users than others. 4 factors mediate the impacts of porn: the user's attitudes and personality, their engagement with the material, its content, and the context of watching it. So what can we do to minimize the harms of pornography on children and youths?